sitting in meditation this morning, a really fun analogy, image came into being, came into knowing, and so I thought I'll see if I can explain this. It's new, so it's just kind of formulated here. It occurred to me that this thing we call us, this image in our mind of us, a collection of belief systems and coping mechanisms and thoughts and beliefs and imagery of self, it's very much like a minefield. It's like a jungle that it's booby trapped. It's got all these tripwires in it, and if somebody triggers our tripwire, the poison spikes come swinging down, or the wild animals get released. I mean, there's a reaction because this tripwire within us, this tangle of beliefs and ideas and self-protections and defenses get triggered, get tripped. And this came to light because I'm noticing how very little the triggers are there anymore in my own experience with things that happen in life, and they just pass now. They happen and they pass. There's not they don't get stuck. There's nothing that's like a web almost that used to be there of beliefs and ideas of self, that the conditions of life, the things that people would do and that used to be upsetting or triggering, there's nothing for them to stick on anymore. So there's no more tripwires, or there's less tripwires within my own psyche, my own sense of self to get triggered. And the vision that came this morning is that what most of us are doing, what most people are doing when they come to recognize that they've got triggers and patterns and such within the mind, they're efforting to disentangle, to identify all the tripwires, identify each one. Oh, I get triggered by that. Oh, okay, I need to work with that and disentangle that and defuse that and get that one worked out. And now I got to find the next tripwire and the next one and the next one. And it's somewhat endless. So the analogy that came this morning is, imagine two travelers wandering through two different jungles. And they both come to recognize that the jungle that they're wandering through in life is their own mind, is their own psyche. And one of the travelers comes to the conclusion that says, my psyche's fairly tangled. It's got a lot of tripwires and a lot of things to trip over, and they get triggered by others, and there's a lot of reaction and within this. I need to clean up my jungle. I need to find and identify all of the problems, all of the tripwires, all of the things that can get entangling, that feels like they're closing in on me, that make life less free. I need to identify all these entanglements that make life less free and work with them. And so he gets out the machete and he starts chopping away at anything he finds that is a disempowering belief or a trigger or an old patterning. And really gets at it and really starts clearing and making a clearing within this jungle to give a little bit more space and a little bit more freedom. But then once that freedom comes and there's more of it, then that traveler rests a little bit. But as soon as they're not paying attention, that jungle keeps growing. It keeps encroaching. It gets entangled again. It gets more encroaching on that sense of self. So the machete comes out again and says, I guess I got to clean up more. I got to find more of these tripwires and clean up this minefield of, I never thought about that, this mind field of self. Now the other traveler also recognizes that they're in the jungle of mind. But they recognize that all of these things that seem so real, all these tripwires and patternings and things that they consider the self, and they say, well, instead of I need to clean all this up, they look around and they start to recognize, wait a minute, these things aren't solid. It's all shadow. It's all imagination. It's all illusion. It's all shadow. It's all created out of the mind. There's no real substance to it. These beliefs, these patterns, these fears, there's no real substance to it. It's shadow. And that traveler recognizes that instead of getting out the machete and trying to identify all the different parts of the web and all the different entanglements and cleaning them up and getting rid of them and organizing everything, they just realize it's all shadow anyway. I'm just going to sit. I'm going to stop. I'm going to put down the machete. I'm going to go within. And I'm going to find a truth that's not shadow. I'm going to find a light. And they start to recognize as well that since everything that they're been battling and moving through, the entanglements that they've been trying to move through to get to freedom is all shadow, they start to recognize that the freedom that they're looking for is just on the other side of the entanglement. That's where the light is. And they don't have to spend a lifetime hacking away and cleaning up the jungle in order to get to the light. They recognize that that entanglement is all shadow anyway. So they stop and come into a knowing of the infinite divine light, the eternal light that is always there beyond the shadow. It's always there. The shadow occurs within the light. There's nothing that's not the light. And as this traveler just radiates and embodies and recognizes and is faithful to the truth of their own truth, the light, it consumes all these shadow states. It consumes all the tripwires and all the triggers and all the trappings. They don't have to fight with it. They don't have to reorganize it. They just know their own light. And that naturally consumes, shines light upon, dissolves, dissipates all the trappings. And as all that shadow state dissipates and fades and drops away, they find they are the light, and they are within the light already, always. Meanwhile, the other traveler in their jungle, they're still hacking away. They're still working with the belief systems as if they're real, as if they have substance. And as long as they keep identifying with all the entanglements and the trappings of mind as having substance, they will forever be battling a mind that keeps re-entangling. We come to a place when we come to recognize it through our stillness, through the embodiment of truth, embodiment of true infinite love as being. We don't have to go and identify all the little individual different pieces of the mind and disentangle them. They're all shadow state anyway. Just be the truth of you. And let it all just start to naturally dissipate as you shine your light. There's very little efforting in that. There's very little doing in that. It's just being. And we find that then things happen in our lives that used to trigger something we thought was real, a pattern, a belief system. It's not there anymore. It's just not there anymore. It was seen as the shadow that it is. The light consumed it. Not there anymore. That's freedom. Okay, I hope that was fun. It was fun for me. Whew. Namaste. Much love. If you like this video and you'd like to see similar content, please subscribe to my channel. You can also click that like button down below, and that's going to make this video more available to more people. Also, visit me at my website, chessedwards.com. There's a link to that down below. There you are going to find valuable resources for living a conscious, peaceful, and powerful life. Also, there's going to be information there about how to work with me one-on-one and how to build your own 3-day custom private immersion retreat with me right here in Sedona. As well as information about upcoming group retreats, virtual retreats, and so much more. And I got a few free gifts for you. Thanks for watching.